Thomas Jefferson Byrd, actor in Spike Lee films, is killed in shooting. The Tony-nominated actor, 70, was found by police with multiple gunshot wounds early Saturday morning. Thomas Jefferson Byrd in 2014. He appeared in the Spike Lee films Clockers 1995, Chirac 2015, and Bamboozled 2000. Thomas Jefferson Byrd, a Tony-nominated actor also known for roles in various Spike Lee films, was found shot to death on an Atlanta street, the authorities said Sunday. Mr. Byrd, 70, was found unresponsive by Atlanta police officers who responded to a call about an injured person at 1:45 a.m. Saturday, Anthony Grant, a spokesman for the police, said. Mr. Byrd was pronounced dead of multiple gunshot wounds to the back, Mr. Grant said. Craig Wyckoff, Mr. Byrd's friend and former representative, said on Sunday that he had spoken with a circle of friends who said that Mr. Byrd had gotten into an argument with someone at a store and that person must have followed him home. The police said the case was under investigation and declined to confirm that account. In a series of posts to Instagram, Mr. Lee said he was so sad to announce the tragic murder of our beloved brother, and highlighted Mr. Byrd's roles in films like Clockers 1995, Chirac 2015, and Bamboozled 2000. Rest in peace, Brother Byrd, Mr. Lee wrote. Mr. Byrd also appeared in the 1996 film Set It Off and was nominated for a 2003 Tony Award for his role in a Broadway revival of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom by August Wilson. A television adaptation is coming to Netflix, starring Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman, who died in August. "Love working with you, Byrd," Ms. Davis wrote in a tweet on Sunday. "What a fine act you were. So sorry your life ended this way." A review of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom in Variety in 2003 hailed Mr. Byrd as a singular pleasure in the role of Toledo, the verbally fastidious piano player who dispenses nuggets of African history and homegrown philosophy. The prim set of Byrd's mouth and the expressive gymnastics of his eyebrows gently accent Toledo's more pompous asides, the reviewer, Charles Isherwood, wrote. But he brings the right measure of natural gravity to Toledo's more painfully authentic ruminations. Mr. Wyckoff said that in recent years, Mr. Byrd had started teaching acting as he tried to get his personal life together after a set of personal struggles. Nasa Metcalf, an actor and a friend of Mr. Byrd's, said he had been struck by his humility at a showing of Clockers at a theater in Atlanta before the two met. Both actors were in the audience. "It wasn't a screening," Mr. Metcalf said, "just the 8 o'clock showing at the local multiplex. When the film ended, some of the people who had been sitting near Mr. Byrd stood up and applauded him." Mr. Byrd very humbly accepted their praise but did not want the spotlight on himself. He appreciated the love, but he didn't necessarily want to be the center of attention, Mr. Metcalf said in a phone call on Sunday. In an upcoming film, Freedom's Path, about the Underground Railroad, Mr. Byrd plays the role of Abner, a father figure to a group of former slaves. Information about Mr. Byrd's survivors was not immediately available. He was born in Florida and raised in Georgia, Mr. Metcalf said. Mr. Byrd graduated from Morris Brown College, a historically black liberal arts college in Atlanta, with a degree in education. He then attained a Master of Fine Arts in Dance from the California Institute of the Arts. Though Mr. Byrd often performed as characters who were rough around the edges, Mr. Lee highlighted his role as the frightening character Errol Barnes in Clockers. He was the opposite of how he looked, Mr. Wyckoff said, and the opposite of what he played. Later in his life, Mr. Byrd became more introspective, Mr. Metcalf said. He was on a path of spiritual self-discovery, so to speak, more so than trying to book the next job, he said. But Mr. Metcalf said, whenever Spike called, he was there. When the two first met at an Atlanta restaurant where Mr. Metcalf was working, Mr. Byrd advised him to just focus on your craft. In the early 2000s. When Mr. Byrd moved to New York for his role on Broadway, the actors lived 2 blocks away from each other in Harlem. They would read through scripts together, he said. There was no limit to his generosity, Mr. Metcalf said. That's who the man was.